All right. Let's check in here real quick. Change up my volume a little bit. And check my volume. Hey, Steve, how you doing? Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Check my volume. Hey, Steve, how you doing? Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay. Sounds like we're coming through just fine. So let me go ahead and drop that volume down there real quick. And let me fix my screens. We're starting a new series today. We're going to be working on... Let's see, where am I? There we go. And let's fix our background here. Yeah, we're starting a new series. It's going to be a Spelljammer Bastion campaign, which means that we're going to be using it's going to be a episodic campaign where each episode is one Bastion turn, which is typically a week. And it's going to, new events will arise. The team, since it's a Bastion campaign, the team is going to have control of a ship as a Bastion, but also the ship is going to be the sheriff and protection patrol for various asteroid communities that will be within reach, for it to be able to act as both a commerce hub that moves materials and goods from one location to another, as well as the main police force for that region. So the campaign is going to be episodic with events of either foreign creatures, pirates, enemy nations, potentially coming in to harass the communities, and the team as a mobile battle station, getting themselves into position, and then deploy mecha or spirit guardians or evangelions or Gundam, however you want to call them. I believe we're calling them war golems, but they're mecha suits. So the characters are going to be mecha pilots when you need to be mecha pilots. Otherwise, they can act as deputies to a sheriff and operate on foot at the 5-foot scale as normal creatures. The mecha will operate at the fighter craft scale that we've developed for the Spelljammer combat and exploration mechanics that we have. And the fortress, it'll be a dwarven citadel that operates at the 500-foot scale. And it's basically a battle cruiser that deploys mecha ships as fighter craft to defend it, Star Wars style, right? So if there are pirates that are coming in with vessels, the dwarven fortress can act as the battleship, while the characters and individual mecha craft can act as fighter craft to harass either pirate fighter craft, or if there's multiple ships that could potentially overwhelm the dwarven citadel, the fighter craft can soften them up or work in tandem with the battleship under the character's command to destroy the enemy threat. If there's monsters at the 50-foot scale are difficult to hit with siege weapons unless they have no cover. But if there's like monsters coming in to graze on orchards or eat grain or people, it could be at the 500-foot scale for a truly mega kraken like we have here on screen, or it could be smaller in scale up to, say, 50 feet in size, which is fighter craft scale. So depending on what the threat is, the team will be able to handle it different. And then we could have like just normal 5-foot scale adventures that the team is conducting among, like for example, if the mining colony, which grabs and mines ore from asteroids that are drifting around in the region, if they crack open a rock and there's Kyber monsters inside, well, then they'll want to send a delving team to clean it out. And they could either, the team could either just decide to relegate it to mercenaries that are in that colony. It would then become an ability check to see if they succeed or fail at driving off the monsters inside so that it can be mined properly. If it fails, or if the team decides that they want to oversee the operation personally, then they can drop in at the 5-foot scale with their characters as is, or they could build completely different characters as delvers and then go attack the Kyber inside the asteroid, clear it out, and then they can start mining that place for a resource for ore. So I'm going to be jumping all around today. We're basically going to be working inside Photoshop here. I'll get this out of the way. We've got a grid here for us to start building the environment that we want to have as like our overland map. We're also going to be working in the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration document that we've created. We're going to be making use of the Bastion campaign that we've been developing here on stream over the past year to develop the facilities and structure the communities that the team will be protecting, as well as creating the, between the Bastion campaign document and the combat and exploration vehicle mechanics, building a ship rules down here, we'll be able to build the Dwarven Citadel, as well as both a battle station and a mobile bastion, and basically a trade or cargo caravan that the team is by default always escorting from one community to another. And we'll also be making use of the Spelljammer Kaiju and Constructs for us to be able to build the mega-sized creatures and play test them against the mechanics for building construct war golems that are mecha, that are generally 10 to 50 feet in size, though you could blow them out to be significantly larger if you wanted to. So we're going to be using all of these different mechanics to build this campaign. And for folks that are interested in that, we have, well, hello people, welcome to the mix. We have the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration document on DMsGuild is here. It's a 100% free preview. If you're a D&D enthusiast and you love this stuff and you want to support me, buying some of these things would be a kindness. The Bastion campaign work in progress we had there, it's a read-only document, but you can look at it here. The Spelljammer subclasses that can be chosen to use the mechanics that we'll be using during the Bastion campaign. That's also a read-only work in progress document that you can see here. And then it's called Kaiju and Constructs now, not Warforged Machines. But here's also the work in progress that we're going to be using. It's a read-only document. My Discord community, where we're going to be playtesting this, and I'm hoping to build a stable team of 4 solid players. So if you're interested in either participating as a player or watching along in this series and utilizing some of these tools that we're working with, they're all here for you guys to look at through my resources and build your own campaign and play test this stuff on your own. You're certainly welcome to do so. And if you join my Discord server, I'm happy to give you as much support as I can. My Patreon, if you want to support me there as well, God bless you. And here's other books that I've created that are on the DMsGuild. All of my books have 100% free preview. The Subclasses book was not, I was involved in that project, but it's not mine. So it's got limited preview, but it's a good book. And all the rest of the books that I create, the Color Mana System, Spellpoint Warlocks, Pacts and Patrons Ravnica, Theurgy, and then the Spelljammer book up here. That's a large amount of the collection that I have. They all have free previews. If you're a 5e enthusiast, be welcome to explore my stuff and always be welcome to ask me anything. I do artwork in the morning, Monday through Friday. I do artwork for the books that I publish. So like this Spelljammer book is full of illustrations that I created. All the ships that were default. Like here's a nautiloid on the water with a one of the cuttlefish fighter craft that are a Lithid fighter craft. Maps and stuff like that. This book is full of icons and tokens and maps. If you decide to purchase and download it, you get over 100 different assets for use with Lattice Araxis and everything else. And of course, if you think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications, because I do game design like this Monday and Thursday nights. We'll be working on this campaign. I don't know how long we're going to be working on this, but we're going to be bouncing between working on the campaign and then filling in details for the Bastion campaign and filling in details for the Kaiju and Constructs book and filling in details for the Spelljammer Subclasses book. So this campaign is a means for me to play test Bastion mechanics, Kaiju and Constructs mechanics, Spelljammer Subclass mechanics, so I can make all these things work. And of course also players that want to do so can use the martial power system, and I'll have to add that here as well. But martial powers can be amplified. So like the Battle Master maneuvers, or your Arcane Archer shots, or all the different martial powers that exist that have been translated into the mana system inside of this book. You can upscale them by sustaining powers to amplify your spells. It chews up your concentration a bit, and it eats up your sustained power slots in the system. But if you amplify your powers, you can then use them with your mecha while you're piloting mecha up to the 50-foot size. You can then just use all the powers that are in this book as a normal martial character would. The same as spellcasters in mecha can amplify their spells and cast them through their mecha at the 50-foot or even 500-foot scale as well. So we have all those mechanics broken down in the Kaiju Construct mechanics. We'll probably be dipping into those mechanics, I reckon, probably next week on Monday when we continue working on this. I think our priority for now is to look at the communities, the Dwarven Citadel that we're going to build as the team's main base of operation, and start establishing just some ground rules for how the campaign is going to operate. And we'll see where that takes us. So I reckon I've got like maybe an hour and a half ish to work on this, and then I'm going to have to jump offline and work on more Eberron adventure stuff so I can finish that up. But thanks for folks that are hanging out and checking in on this. I really enjoy streaming and just talking mechanics and building. I like to show the work process that I go through, gnashing my teeth with mechanics during design streams, as well as like all the art and going through all that slow art process on stream in the morning as well. So if this stuff is fun to you guys, I'd love to earn your subscription. So let me see if I can. Let's just get started here. So we're going to start. I think what I want to do here is I want to start off in the exploration chapter of the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration document. I want to look at visibility range. So let's see. Object size. If it's 100,000 miles away, that should only be a few rounds of movement. 100,000 miles is basically a minute away. So if a 500-foot object, something that's at the 500-foot scale, being 500 feet or larger in size, less than a mile, between 500 feet and a mile, that's the scale of like fighter craft, of like vessels, dwarven citadels, and the distance to see them is 100,000 miles. And at spelljamming speed that the team is going to be able to operate in their citadel, they have the major helm of 100 million miles per day, which translates into 100,000 miles in a minute. So basically, either the team, if the whatever's closing in on a community, it'll either be 100,000. It'll either be a 1 minute warning, or if they're only 50 feet up, only 50 to 500 feet in size, 50 feet scale, it'll take. You'll have 10 minutes notice. You would have 1 minute notice if it's a vessel up to 500 feet to a mile in size, but you'd only have a single round if they're anywhere from 50 to 500 feet, because they're smaller. You can't see them as far away. So you only have a minute to 10 minutes to be able to send out alert for help if you're going to be attacked by pirates. So if they can hit within 10 minutes of being noticed, that's enough time to muster a local militia to man catapults and siege weapons to try to drive the pirates away. But if you have to send a Fargab signal or a sending spell or a message, amplified message spell to send out word to the word I want to use, the Citadel. Thank you, to the Citadel that the team is operating and basically acting as patrol to protect these communities. If it's only 10 minutes for the pirates to get there, it's reasonable to think that, well, it's not, unless they're within 100,000, like unless all the islands are within 100,000 miles of each other, it's going to take more than a minute or 10 minutes for the team to get there. So what's a reasonable scale of distance? If I'm at a location on the map. Okay, so I'm using wiggle fingers there, but if we zoom in a little bit and we're looking at a map space, like what size square should this square be? It could be 100 million miles, and it would take 1 day to move from one square to the next. So if I had an arrangement of asteroid communities that were like, say, arranged like roughly like this, and I think I want to have 6, so I could roll a d6 to see who gets attacked next or whatever, like where's the problem at this time around. So if I have 6 locations and this is just a cluster here, like they're not too close. If these squares were 100 million miles, that means it would take me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days to get from one asteroid to another. But if you only have a 10-minute warning that pirates are going to hit, 6 days versus 10 minutes, those pirates are going to completely eat that community. So we need to be close enough. We need to be far enough away that the threat has a chance to manifest and start causing trouble, but be far enough away that there is travel time that the characters are going to need to get from their current location to the next, so that the threat has a chance to ease itself in, overcome the defenses, and then need the characters to come in and rescue them. So that's the general structure I think I need to operate with. So what size scale does that need to be? I'm thinking I want them to be like 2 hours away. So there's, or like at best an hour away, so that whatever threat shows up has plenty of time to chew on whatever they want to do, cause whatever trouble they want to do, and then be able to bounce out of there if they aren't responding too quickly. So it's a hit and a run, and then they're gone. So, what's a good scale for us to actually operate at? Let's go in and look at movement speeds. I can do 1 million miles in 10 minutes. In 1 hour, I can do 5 million miles. So what would happen if each of these squares was 1 million miles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 1 hour. So it's going to be 70 minutes to get from here to here. These two are the farthest away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And it's 11 hours to get from here to here. So 11 million miles, 11 hours of travel time. It would be... if all you have is fighter craft, that would be 11 days. Fighter craft move 100 times slower than vessels do with major helms. So fighter craft on their own, like the mecha the characters are going to be piloting, they're not good for breaking up and like dividing up their energy to go here and I'll go here and I'll go, because it's going to take fighter craft days to get there until they can be equipped with major helms, and the team's not going to start with that resource available to them. So they'll have to rely on their battleship to get them, the Dwarven Citadel, to get them from one location to the next. And I don't know if this is the best map to have, but I think we've determined that a map scale on the overland movement on the world map can be 1 million miles. So that's the number one baseline that we needed to determine. Square equals 1 million miles. And again, looking at the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration document link down below, on DMsGuild, 1 million miles takes 10 minutes. No, so we want it to be do we want it to be an hour each? 1 million miles? That's actually 10 minutes per million miles. So 11, that would be 2 hours to get from here to here, and it's an hour to get from here to here. So let's actually determine. I want there to be at least an hour delay between each location. So that means they have to at least be 6 squares apart each. So that's a good starting spot. Do I want these organized? Maybe not all of them have. Maybe some of them can be closer together. Like maybe we do like this one and this one. So they're only 20 minutes apart and easy to move between. This one would be 5, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4. if they were 5 million miles apart, it would take an hour. So that would take 2 hours. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. We could probably tighten, if we do this, this would be 1, 2, 3 hours, 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, 1, 2 hours. Actually, this might be better to do something more like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2 hours, 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. So anywhere from 2 to 5 hours apart. That's not so bad. I think I like that. What if I moved? Nah, let's do it like that. 2, 1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've only got 5 here. I wanted 6. So maybe we have a central location that helps, that acts as the hub between these. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So anywhere from 2 to 4 hours to get from, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Anywhere from 2 to 7 hours. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, anywhere from 2 to 7 hours to get to anywhere. So that means if there's multiple threats and if they're really close by, you may be able to handle a threat that's here, but maybe that means that like any threats that are over here will definitely be able to get away before you're able to finish dealing with this and get over to here. But like if you prioritize getting over to here, maybe you'll get there in time, and maybe you'll be able to catch one of the other ones that are coming up. Hey, what's going on? Oh, hey, brother. Do you do MTG? Oh my God, do I do MTG design? Yes, absolutely, I 100% do. Sorry for the tangent here, real quick, folks, but I have to share. So if you click down here in the find out more about my other DMsGuild stuff, if you click on this will take you to the 5-color mana spell point variant rule system. Here's the entire bundle. They're all free previews. If you want to support more of this, I'm going to rebuild all of them for 5e24. There's a lot of new mechanics in 5e24 that are a lot of fun. But this pay what you want this pay what you want document here, the revised 5-color mana spell point variant rules. If you click on that, right on, my dude. Yeah, revised 5-color mana spell list. You can take a look at it here. We have the 5 colors, some rough ideals or ideology, not really, but like mechanics and like concepts that represent each color, the type of damage type that's related to each color, and combine these aspects and damage types, and you come up with the color mana spell list. It's like Acid Splash. Acid is like a blue and green sort of energy. That's the kind of cards that you see for Acid, or like for Poison, for instance. Poison is typically going to be black or green. So like a spell like Poison Spray is going to be Poison Spray is like a black or green spell, even though it's a cantrip and it doesn't cost any mana. But yeah, if you check out the color mana system here, like the main system, the spell point Warlocks goes into it. The core mechanics here is a deep dive into building color mechanics for spells, but the revised spell list has an option for, like in the original version, the core mechanics, each spell was devoted to only one color. So you had to have that specific color, but after using it in multiple campaigns from level 1 to 20, this more flexible system of allowing more colors, like Armor of Agathis used to be only, I think, black. Armor of Agathis used to only be white. But the different aspects of it, we then opened it up. So white, blue, and green magic makes sense for Armor of Agathis as well. So it has more flow. Like most of these spells have a lot more fluidity on what colors can be used to make it easier for you to balance your color pool. But check all that stuff out. Check out my design stream, my color magic design streams that I have in my playlists. That'll give you a lot of details. And if you join my Discord server, that's linked down below. There's a ton of information. You can ask any questions that you want and check all that stuff out. But yeah, I love Magic the Gathering. We're building the martial power system, which converts all of the martial classes into a mana system as well, kind of like Eldritch Knight. using 20 mana like the monk. Well, now all of the martial classes have 20 mana like a monk that you get back on a short rest. And we've converted all the Battle Master stuff, all the Rune Warriors stuff, Arcane Archers stuff, Psy Warrior, Mind Spy, Assassin, all those subclass features, and a whole bunch of like 201 different like feats, cantrip type, like not like it does, as long as you have it prepared, you can use it for free. Weapon masteries are things you can prepare to use with any weapon, and then you can spend mana to do things like use your bonus action. Like when you take the help, like if you spend a point of mana when you use the help action, you can grant advantage to the ability check or attack of an ally within 60 feet of you. You can then roll one power die, which is like a bardic inspiration die, adding that highest result to the ally's advantage roll already. So for 1 mana, you can give your ally advantage with help and then roll a die, depending on the level of your character. It's going to either be a D6, D8, or a D10, and you can then add that to the result. Like you can spend a point of mana to basically, as part of the help action, basically juice in a bardic inspiration die to ramp their results on stuff. For example, and this is all a free preview. I'll have the link later on. But so this using the martial power system, this is stuff that we can use in the Spelljammer game that we're building, because when the team takes on mecha and they're wearing mecha suits, they can use the martial power system and amplify it through their mecha to be able to help each other at the 50-foot scale, working as a Gundam team to fight mega kaiju and space pirates and shit. So that's the idea. Use this stuff or don't if you want. It's an optional system that's there. But the idea is to lean into it and then use your mana pool through the mecha to be able to do, combat shit. So there you go. So and this all uses like the color mana system as well. So check all that stuff out. Be welcome to join my Discord server, and we'll be diving. We're going to be bouncing between these different documents anyway, looking at different concepts as we start building out the campaign. But so I'm still debating. I was thinking about whether or not I want to make the Spelljammer campaign out in the asteroid belt of Eberron, or if I want to make it a Ravnica guilds campaign. And I haven't decided yet, and I don't need to yet. But if I were, like, this could be like an Azet, Simic, and Azorius colony, depending on the colors that people want. But then like Gruul terrorists could be on giant kaiju, casting amplified ritual magic to empower their creatures to then attack these communities that are slowly reaching out and mining asteroids and destroying stuff in the wild space environment, pissing off the Gruul clan. There could be Rakdos raiders, just pirate fleets of Rakdos. Makes a lot of sense. That has like a real what was that campaign world? MTG world with that was pirate themed with vampires and merfolk. I can't. It's not Innistrad. That's werewolves versus vampires. But there's vampiric pirates and goblin pirates, and it's the name is completely escaping me. But pirates in that campaign or in that world are black red. So like I could see pirates being black red. I'm not sure how Dimir would be in here someplace sabotaging Azorius options. So I think there's a lot of fun there. If you're looking for a player, let me know. I'd love to play in some Golgari Druid. Right on, man. Well, I'm going to be building a team, and if anyone else also wants to run this as a playtesting DM, there might be other spaces that open up. But yeah, be welcome. My Discord channel is linked down below. You're welcome to jump in, ask anything. And if the timing works for you, then you're welcome to jump on board. We're currently playtesting inside of a mega dungeon Saturday mornings, Seattle time. It's like at noon. It'd be like noon on the East Coast, and if you're in Europe, it'd be in the evening. But I think this is the general array that I want. So if each square is 5 million miles, so one square equals 5 million miles, one per hour. That's the travel time. And let's see. So let's just take that And let's bring it up here like that. And the team, I'm planning on starting this Spelljammer campaign with characters level a 5th level. And I think I'm going to run it. If I operate at a clip of like every 3 or 4 episodes is a Bastion turn, and you can gain a level each adventure, I could take us to 13th level. That would be plus 8 level times 4 equals 32 weeks. That equals 8 months. And if I start this in February, that'll take us to October next year. I'm potentially okay with that. Yeah, that's currently what we're thinking. I want to build a stable team of 4 or 5. And it'd probably be like a 4-hour game block so that we have ramp up and cool down time and have at least a good solid 3 hours of like actual activity happening, minus shenanigans, like actual table time, 3 to 3.5 hours ish, like 15 minutes warm up, 15 minutes cool down, maybe a 10-minute break in between if there's a lull. It's like a 1 point, like a hour 45 hour. No, that'd be like 2 hours and 1.75 and 1.75. Yeah, something like that. Like 1.75 and then like 1.5 hours, like 2 blocks inside that frame would probably end up making sense. Something like that. So that's the idea. So 5th level characters. That means I'm going to want to start them with a second 5th level. Fifth level equals 2nd rank for Bastions. So the Bastion campaigns, the Bastion system we've been developing has 5 ranks, and the ranks correspond with level 1, 5, 9, 13, 17. So my plan would be to operate inside this block of space. The team is going to have a Dwarven Citadel. So let's break off a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. At the 50-foot scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. At the 50-foot scale, this is a 500-foot space. Dwarven citadels can be up to 500 feet in size and still be operated by a single spelljamming helm. So if we're going to build a Dwarven citadel, we have to start with a rock. And I'm going to make that rock this. I should have made another layer first. I don't know. I'm leaning towards Eberron campaign world, but I'm not opposed to using the 10 guilds of Ravnica to represent different influences and forces in the campaign. So I'm currently running a Spelljammer Asteroid Belt Bastion campaign with my Wednesday team, and it's in Eberron. It's in orbit around Eberron, and the 3 races that we're allowed to use are Dwarf, Gnome, and Warforged. So those are the 3 races that we're allowed. So this community would be a community of mostly gnomes and dwarves with Warforged population included. So the characters would pull from these 3, and they could be any class that they want, but this would be the racial profile that we're going to use for this campaign. Humans will be enemies in this campaign. Yeah, that's what feels right to me. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Cut that, paste it. Looking at our Dwarven Citadel. .500 feet. It has a flat 1,000 hit points. With a damage reduction of 20. Major helm, of course. Uh, 10 dice worth 10 dice of siege weapons. And 10 dice of mounted weapons. Mounted weapons are anti-personnel. Siege is for attacking Spelljammer ships and vessels and structures. If we're going to have the Citadel is going to be we're gonna start at 2nd rank. So characters are 5th level, 2nd rank. That means in the Bastion campaign, we're going to have access to, let's peel open the Bastion campaign system here. We can't command something higher rank than us, and currently we are 2nd rank. So that means that one of the asteroid communities in here is going to have to be 3rd rank, and I assume that's going to be the hub. So we'll have the central world, or the central asteroid community. We're going to put that one down for 3rd rank. And these other ones will probably be either 1st or 2nd rank. Let's randomly roll. Of the 5 that remain, how many of them are going to be 2nd rank? So I'm going to roll a D4, and that will be how many of the other 5 asteroids is 2nd rank. So I rolled a 3. So 3 of them are going to be 2nd rank. I know, and we'll start breaking down different types of facilities and stuff here in a minute. So let's see. We'll have, first we want to go through the rank of each community, determine the population of each community, how many, what the size of their potential militia could be if invested in, and what kind of resources can they have access to. And we're going to want to diversify the resources that they're utilizing to give each of those communities a specific purpose or reason for being there. So let's so let's start breaking that down. And I'm going to end up making a Google Doc for this as a campaign lore guide, basically. So after I finish mutting around, scratching the stuff out here in Photoshop, I'll eventually break this down into a formal document. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. X, we'll call rank. And drop this down. Harvest. So we know the first one is 3rd rank. We have 3 more. So let's see. Number 5 is 2nd rank. Number 3 is 2nd rank. And 2 is 2nd rank. So in the Bastion campaign, I don't have anything hyperlinked in here yet, so I'm going to have to just kick down towards the edge of the document for communities. So a first rank is a hamlet. And hold on. There we go. Governing settlements. A hamlet has a maximum population of 100 people, has an effective area of 1 mile. Growth rate, once per month, it can add on people. It has, because it's first rank, and when it makes ability checks or takes actions or saves, it's using a D4. And its lifestyle duration is only a week. Second rank is a village with up to 1,000 people, requiring a 10-mile radius for proper food and eating and stuff. You can have up to 1,000 people, once per month duration. Third rank is an actual town, which could be up to 10K, which could effectively be potentially be like the Rock of Brawl. We could potentially take the Rock of Brawl and make it our central structure. It has an effective radius of 50 miles. That's to have an abundance of resources, and in cities and metropolis we won't get there in this campaign. So a town, 50-mile area. So I need to find an asteroid that's at least 50 miles in size so that it can support the population of the town and have enough space for it to have abundant crops. So if I have 10,000 people, I need 50 feet of space for every person of vegetation to be able to provide enough oxygen to maintain a balance. So an asteroid community is going to be limited to how much vegetation can they put onto the space that they have. Divide that area. Basically 50 feet of vegetation equals 1 5-foot creature can be sustained by exchanging air. So if I have the maximum capacity is 10,000 people, so if I peel open ye old calculator, and so I've got 10,000 people, and they each, so that's that would be a 50 by 50,000, 50,000, that's 10 miles. So 10,000, that's 50,000, 50,000 divided by 5,000 is that 50? Is that 50 miles? Is that right? So if I've got 1,000, I'm going to write it out because sometimes I don't trust my math. If I've got 1,000 people and each is a mobile 5-foot square, that equals, I'm sorry, I'm doing this for a town, so max of 10,000 people, but it'll scale down appropriately. 10,000, 1,000 for a town, and then up to 100 for a hamlet. 1,000 equals 50K feet area, a 50,000 foot square, which breaks down to if we get rid of, there's 1,000 miles, there's 5,000 feet per mile. So 50,000 feet divided by 1,000, that's a 50 mile space. And that's the maximum area for a town. It happens to be 50 miles. So that works out really well. This rock it can be if it's bigger than, if the population grows beyond 10,000, it's going to spill into city territory. And for it to expand, it's going to have to, well, here we have it listed as only needs 100 miles of vegetation space, but we know in space we're going to need a 500-mile rock to support a population of 100,000 people. That's really, really big. So we can't really swing that. But we can get a 50, so we have to have, let's go with rank. Let's go with size. Miles. Let's go with miles. So let's roll a d4 plus. Let's roll a d4 plus 3 to see d4 plus 2 to see what our maximum size is going to be. D4, I rolled a 3. I said D4 plus 3, so 3 is 60 miles. It's a 60-mile rock. So that means pop cap is 60,000. Let's go with a current population. And its population is going to be anywhere from 10,000 to 100,000, but it can't be bigger than 60,000. So let's roll a d4 plus 3 again and see how that shakes out. I rolled a 1, so it's going to be 40,000. So if they have the entire asteroid working, it's a 60-mile asteroid. They only have a population of 40,000. If they can get the entire 60-foot, the 60-mile rock, if they can get it completely covered in vegetation, which is totally plausible. Forests stretch for hundreds of miles, so we could easily vegetate the entire rock. And if we do, it could potentially be producing enough food of overflow, like vegetation overflow. Like if there's 20 miles of forest and then 40 miles of food of crops, it would be able to completely feed its own population without any issue. But we have 60,000. We have a total of 60-mile area total to play with. So that means that we could potentially have less forest and more crop. Let's go with what percentage? Yeah, let's do that. That makes a lot of sense. If there's not enough crops, if there's more forest than crops, so there's not enough crops to actually just feed the people, the 40K people that are on the rock, it would make sense that they would need to start outsourcing additional farm space, which would give purpose for these other asteroids to exist. So let's roll a d4 and see what number we get. And that's going to be the total amount of population that can be fed on the rock independently. And I rolled a 3. So it can feed, so the first rock can feed 30, so it's a 30-30 split. So it's going to have 30 miles of forest and 30 miles of crops. But they're all plants, so they both count towards the total air supply for the population. So this is a let's say there's 20 miles worth of tree. So when we build our map for the 60 foot, we go like say 5. Let's see if we can map this thing out. We'll go 6. I could do 6 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's basically a square, right? I just made a cube. So that's convenient. So each square here could be 10 miles. So we could have like forest here and forest here at the pole, and then have crops, and crops. And that would allow us to have like structures and stuff to be intermittent throughout the place. So when I build a map for this, that's how I look at the 10 mile scale. And then we could zoom in to like each of these being a 10 by 10 square. And then we could do each mile. Like there's city in like a 3-mile area, like actual city, hub city. And then we have like little villages that are outcrops that are like little farming communities that gather up supplies to transmit to the hub. I think that would work. So like the main town could have like a population like maybe have like 30K in the city itself, and then 10K in towns. It's like 10 towns, 10 villages. And 1,000 is the max size. So let's break up that 30. Let's roll a d10 on top of that 30. I got a 4. So there's 34K in the town, and then there's let's say 10 villages that are averaging 600 each. That puts us comfortably inside village territory. And each of those villages, basically, it'd be 6 miles of area for each of these. That's a total of 60 miles of space needed. And the town itself doesn't actually do any real. The word I'm looking for is any real harvesting. It's just it's a trade center. So I would probably put the forest here as well as being hub. And we could have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a forest village as well. So that is abundant enough population that they would be able to have harvest. Sorry, the main harvesting operations of these harvest will be food and vegetation supplies, like either wood or different types like cotton, hemp, vegetables. And maybe as part of this, vegetation as well as animal materials. So they'll be harvesting vegetation and animals. The vegetation is going to be in the form of crops and wood. And the animals, I think sheep is small enough for gnomes and dwarves to handle. Sheep and goat. So that'll be the main harvesting that happens on the central asteroid, but it's going to be dependent on these other asteroid communities to be able to send food for the additional 10,000 people that need additional food. So second rank is in the thousands. I suspect these smaller hamlet asteroids are where we're going to have new settlers to start working the rock to be able to build out new crops, more additional vegetation and crops to be able to expand on that rock and to send surplus back to the hub to feed the large population that's dependent on these communities. I think that works. I know I want to have one. I feel like this one is going to be a mining community. I'm thinking things through. Okay, so I'm going to use some Oracle dice here to ask the question to my DM's board, my DM Ouija board. Is this in a larger cluster of asteroids? It's just 6 of them are populated, but there's a lot of different asteroids that can be exploited for mining or have other little hamlets dropped on them. Or are these rocks isolated? And it's basically, so there has to be some sort of like other resource or something that's available. So the question then, as a yes or no question, the question is, are there other asteroids in a cluster with these rocks? These are just the most significant ones. So when I roll Oracle dice, I roll 2 6-sided dice. The die that lands closer to me asks the question on a scale of 1 to 6, how likely is this to be? A 1 means it's guaranteed to be true. A 6 means it's a miracle if it's true. And so the second die, the one that's further away from me, if it's a 1 and it's guaranteed to be, then this die is determining how well was it executed. So if the question is a 1, it's guaranteed there's other asteroids there, but the result is also a 1. It means, yes, there are other asteroids there, but they're difficult or not really, they're thin pickings or not very desirable for some reason. If the question is a 1 and the answer is a 6, that means not only is it 100% guaranteed, yeah, there are other asteroids in the area. A 6 would mean that all these asteroids are fucking amazing. This place is ripe for development. So, and if I were to like say, roll a 6 as a question, it's almost impossible that there's other asteroids in this cluster. And I roll a 6, despite it being highly unlikely, it still is true. There are asteroids there. If the question is a 6 and the answer is a 1, it means not only is it nearly impossible that there's going to be other asteroids in the area, that 1 means that the asteroids that are currently there are probably under some, like, this is a crit fail. Like, there's something wrong with the rocks that are here already. So that's the combination that we're going to do. So I'm going to roll the Oracle dice, and they say 2 6. I rolled a 2 and a 6. So the question came back 2, meaning, yeah, there is a huge amount of asteroids in this area. And the 6 answer means not only are there a huge amount of asteroids in the area, but they're ripe with different minerals. They're large enough to grow populations on. And that probably means that there's competitors in the area. I think that's our first threat. So is this a gold rush community? 2 4. So yeah, it's definitely a gold rush community. And 4 means that other people are just starting to become aware of it. So that means that this cluster that we have here of these asteroids, maybe like, is this like the only cluster that's within, like asteroid belts are like in clumps. It's not just one uniform sheet of dirt like it's an orbit, like a ring orbit, right? A ring in orbit around a planet like Saturn and shit. That's just like dust so thick that it looks like a ring. This is going to be more like the Kuiper belt, where there's like Cooper belt, where there's a lot of big rocks out there, but they aren't anywhere close to each other. So you'll see clusters of them, and then tens or hundreds of miles till the next one. Are we seeing these isolated clumps? 4 6. So a question of 4 and an answer of 6 comes back to us to say that, yeah, it's 50-50. Like maybe there's a lot of grit and dust in between, but there's definitely clumps of different asteroids that can be staked out as territories. And then the 6 means 100% that is exactly what's happening. So that means that there's other asteroid clusters like in some sort of orbit here that are potential rivals or rivals or potential allies. Is that the case? 2 4. So highly likely that there's going to be potential rivals and allies, but it's going to take a number of days to get to them, right? 1 and 2. So it's definite, but for some reason it's highly unlikely. It was definitely going to be, but for some reason it's a complication. So does that mean, what does that tell me? That tells me that that tells me that there's not a lot of trade between various communities that might be out there. Is that the case? 1 in 5. There you go. So yeah, these are new. Are they opposed nations? 2-3. We're doing the Moorhold. We're working Moorhold. It came back. I asked anyway, so it came back 5-5. So we're working Moorhold Zalargo. Like if we're talking in Eberron terms here, it's Moorhold Zalargo alliance that picked up the Warforged as cast-off souls. Warforged are great. They don't have to breathe, so you can send them out anywhere to start developing stuff. They're great like that. You can have a Warforged population work a rock, like mining and stuff, and they don't need to worry about having air or not. So that's really handy. So a lot of just like stray rocks, they can send out mining teams of Warforged to go work that rock. And then the dwarves and gnomes that they're partnered with, they can focus more on their flesh-breathy stuff. But they'll support and encourage the Warforged among them. So it's a symbiotic relationship where the Warforged are able to gather resources that might be difficult for their breathing allies, while the brethren the breathing, are able to provide a sense of community and purpose, because the Warforged really have no purpose. Their home has been destroyed. Their souls are abandoned. They could attempt to find out who they are, but it's very difficult. But they know they used to be somebody, and that they've been reborn into these new bodies as trapped souls taken from their afterlife. They could either choose to try to find out who they are, and that would be like more earth, like that'd be like Eberron bound activity to work in those politics, or those that don't want to know who they used to be and look at this as an opportunity to have a fresh start, go out into space where their value is in what they have become, while those on Eberron that remain, their value is in who they were. So you have these two divides. Or maybe people that find out who they were nobody, and they have no stakes to any kind of treasure or royalty or positions of grandeur, and so they would rather not know who they were, and they're trying to hide from their past or just not admit who they used to be. So they exile themselves to the stars so that they can contemplate the opportunity to start over again with no name. So that's the social aspect of it. Gnomes are gnomes. They're tinkers, but they're also woodland type people. So they have that foresty, crop-like vibe working with sheep and goat. I think that works. And then dwarves, of course, mining, industry, architecture, structure, defensive structuring, processing materials, and goldsmithing. If you're looking at the Kundali, is it House Kundali? I think I'm super sketchy on the Eberron, the different Dragonmark houses, but the security, like the wards and like the security and the secret keepers are dwarves, so they make natural bankers to be able to protect people's wealth. That doesn't have as much value out here in space, but they have that administration angle working for them. So I think that makes a lot of sense. And they have the Dwarven Citadel, which leans into their like sentinel mentality of protection and guarding. I like that. I think that works. So what do I want to work on right now? Where are we at? Okay, yeah. So we're looking at different asteroid clusters. So let's actually drop down here and look at. I'm all over the place today, but we're just starting to wordsmith this stuff out, right? We're figuring things out as we go along. How long have I been at this? Over an hour. Very good. Let's keep going. So we're gonna have our cluster here. Are we in orbit around Eberron? That's the question. Yes or no? 4-2. No, we're not. We're not in orbit around Eberron. It was 50-50, but we ended on the negative side. Does that mean, are we in orbit around one of the moons? 2-5. We are in orbit around one of the moons. It can't be Dalcor. It shouldn't be Mabar. let's so that would leave us like say let's take a D10. Let's roll a D10 and see which moon. Are we? Let's just verify that. Are we clustered around a particular moon? 5-4. No, we're not clustered around a particular moon. Are we out in the orbit of the moons? 1 and 2. Yes, we are, but complications. So that means that are we in a space that occasionally one of the moon's orbits comes by close enough to potentially be a threat if the moon is full? 4-5. The answer is yes. Okay, so that starts. Okay, so the way that I run Spelljammer Eberron is that there's 13 moons that orbit Eberron, and those moons correspond with the outer planes of Eberron. Has 13 unique outer planes that orbit it. And the way that I work it is when the moon is new and there you can't see it, the moon is a portal. It's not actually an object. It's a wormhole or like a color pool that opens a rift that goes to that dimension. So when you see a moon is full, the portal is completely open and creatures can cross from that plane into Eberron space, into cyberspace, I guess. SYBER is how Keith coined it. So when the moon is full, creatures can leave its plane through wild space to potentially inhabit or invade these asteroids that are in orbit out there with the moons. So any time that the moon is at least partially open, you can pass from wild space into that plane, but you can't cross from the plane back into Eberron unless the moon is full. So that's the cycle of opening and closing the gate. You can always leave this world for that outer plane. It'll always take you. But for you to come back, the moon has to be full. If the moon happens to be full when it's in super close orbit to an asteroid community, that asteroid community may witness creatures from that plane in the asteroid belt nearby. It could potentially be like an attack. Like 2 months ago, Shavarth opened up, and a bunch of Blood Furies, war bands of Blood Furies found their way out of the plane into the asteroid belt, and they've been jumping from asteroid to asteroid trying to find something to battle, and they've caught sight of your community, and they're going to close distance and attack, for instance. And like maybe the full moon was like a month ago. That's how long it took for them to traipse up to you. That might be why it explains that communities are sparse, but there'll be like this leapfrogging, like this stepping stones in the river of being able to hop from asteroid to asteroid across the band. So does that mean that the skies of Eberron are just chock full of asteroids of various sizes? They just tend to clump together. Larger rocks just tend to clump together because of gravity. Is that how the world works? 3-5. Dice are yesing at me a lot. I'm liking that. So that means that the clusters that we have are the larger rocks that have gathered up, but there could always be a new asteroid that's going to drift into range, pulled by one of the moons or from stray external deep space forces. There could be new asteroids that come through. Is it common? No, it's not common that new asteroids will come through. Are they usually caught up by a moon's gravity field? Yes. Does that mean when a moon comes in close range, it could be dragging asteroids after it in its wake, which could cause trouble? And the answer is yes. If the moon is full, is it pulling more asteroids? 5-3, no. If the moon is new, does it drag asteroids? Yes. So when the portal is open, it doesn't affect the environment around it. The more, that's fun. So the more closed, the more new the moon is, the more closed the portal is, the more its mass actually pulls on asteroids that are in orbit. The more it opens, the less actual mass and gravity it has because it's opening up into another dimension. Does that make sense? The dice says that makes sense. So if the moon is full, monsters are going to come out and potentially kill you, and that's a problem. If the moon is new when it comes by in orbit, then it is going to potentially haul or pull asteroids around it, potentially changing the position of your asteroids in your cluster to become either closer or farther away. That's a fun threat. Closer or further away, or it could drag new asteroids in with you, or it could take asteroids that are already there and pull them out. And depending on the moon, depending on the cycle of the moon, will determine its pull. So a new moon will have maximum pull. Like say it could pull an asteroid like maybe up to 100 miles in size. So if a new moon comes by, it could potentially grab the entire cluster and pull it to another location in space until the moon opens up enough to not be able to pull the asteroids anymore, then it lets them go. But now you're in a new position and potentially in near orbit to other moons that are circulating around the planet. And create new neighbors, and these chains can be made by asteroids or by the moons dragging asteroids like a snow path, being like dragging snow to create these little ripples and wakes that could be like little ranges of stones that could be maneuvered among to actually have a path from one moon to another. That's interesting. I like that idea. So let's go ahead and implement that. Let's see. So is the best way for me to be able to organize this is every bastion turn, should I roll to see if a different if a different moon is coming within, like can all moons come into range of the asteroid community, just depending on when it is. 4 on 4. The 4s are strong with this question. So that means this, yes, any moon is possible. Should I do like a stepping scale? No. Should I have the planets, the planes divided up into near, medium, and far orbits? It likes that idea. And then I'm going to determine which band we're in. No, we're going to determine which moon we're closest to. No, it doesn't like that either. Are we between two bands? Are they? No, we're not. So all moons are spaced out in their own orbit? Yes. So that means that we're going to be in orbit near one of the planets. Are they close enough that that two moons can potentially interact with each other? 1 and 1. So definitely, but almost not. So that means that as these moons are, okay, so each moon is in their own orbit, but they're close enough to each other that they can influence each other. So that means I need to make a banding of each plane. I should probably have Dalcor be the furthest away, right? No, that's not the case. 100,000 mile bands? No, because we're dealing with millions of miles here. 10,000 mile bands? Yes, it likes that. Okay, so let's approach this again. I'm going to blank this out right now. Basics. So here's Eberron. We're going to go with 10 million miles squares. That's a lot of miles that we have between these different planes. But we're going to work with it. So is that the right way to do this? 10 million mile bands? Yes, the dice like it, so we'll do it that way. Starting 2 bands away. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 14, 28, 29. This is 300 million miles. That's the size. And then if we add on more space, let's erase that line. Pull this over here like this. Free transform. There. This is Eberron. This is the orbit of the of the moons. Now let's go to the let's go find a reference here and look at the planes of Eberron. No, I don't. That's the wrong button. Fuck off, AI. No one likes you. Moons up. Planes of Eberron. Cosmology. Nobody wants your commercials. You know what? Actually, that's a great question. What? How far away? Eberron. Distance of each moon. How about that? Huh. Well, that's useful. Okay, so we're going to expand the range to work with our millions of miles. And we already have our, maybe this is an oversimplification, but we now have an official marching order for each of them. So let's grab this table. Nah, it's not having that. Let's grab a notepad. Bloop. Let's do it this way. Eberron. Which moon corresponds to each plane? Thank you. Lamania. Aubrun. Eight, 9, 10, 11. There they are. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Why am I missing one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Because, and we can go back to Eberron. We'll go back to here. Eberron, moon corresponding to which plane? There we go. And these are alphabetical, which is a pain in the ass, but that's okay. Once I get these properly spaced out, I can then resort them. And I think there's only 12 because I think the moon with Dalcor disappeared when Dalcor fell out of orbit. Or got shunted. So let's open this up a little bit more. Moon, title, distance, plane. The Lure, Realm of the Dead. And the Baroka, Irian, the Eternal Day. Baracus. And Dravago for Rizia. Ire, the Anvil with Furnia. That makes sense. And then Lavarian, the Realm of Met with Zoriat. Lavarin, where is that? Nim with Donvi, the Perfect Order. So once I finish this table, we're going to roll a random die and drop the players in somewhere between two of these moons. Lamania, the Twilight Forest. And then I can come with like unique boons or curses that could accompany a moonbeam nearby. Oh, Laroon. You know, as a Bastion event, like moon stuff is happening. Ron with Thelania, Thelanis, the Fairy Court. Ron's pretty far away. Cypherus with Mabar. Therendor with Serenia. Volt with Shavareth, the Battleground. And finally, Zarentir is closest to Kithri, the Churning Chaos. There. So we have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And of course, Dalcor is missing. So never mind about that. So we've got 12. Let's say we roll a d12 to see which moon the asteroid community is currently closest to. Does that make sense? The dice like that idea. So I'm going to take a d12 and we're going to roll it. I got a 4. So that means that the team's currently in orbit near Ire, the Anvil, Furnia, the Sea of Fire. So that is currently who the team is closest to. Let's see. And that one is 1, 2, 3, 4 out. So the team is currently in Let's put you in position there. And then scoot you over. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our current orbit. That is our current orbit. So whenever an event involving a moon occurs, it could mean that like these two moons are close together, and there would be a potential chance that are like if 5. What's Dravago? If Dravago comes by the plane, we're currently in orbit with Furnia, the Sea of Fire, but if a Bastion turn occurs, we could instead be pulled into orbit with Dravago, into Rizia, the plane of ice, or into Therendor, which would be Serenia, the azure sky. So we're currently, so asteroids that are in orbit right now with us here are being affected by Furnia. Furnia, the heat, let's say it could always be this way. And how frequently will this change? There's various orbits that we're looking at, right? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I start here, I think I want to do an orbit count. I'm going to do some math here just to see how this thing works out. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So it's basically a month. Where we're at right now, it's roughly 1 month travel time. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a note here. 30 days. Each one of these has their own orbit, which could clip into, like, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Time. Wounds all heals. 31. Oh, sorry. 31. This one's 24. I wonder if the next one's going to be 21. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. How about that, huh? I called that one. 21. 24, 31, and then we have further and further orbits. I may as well, hey, since we're here, we may as well get it done, right? Maybe I don't need to do all of them right now, just some of them. Since we're here, it's a possibility that we could kick to 5. So let's just do the math on that real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So if a moon event occurs, we could do something like each bastion turn. We've got, like, we're here, and we're currently here. So let's roll some dice. 3. I got an 18. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we're right here right now. Yeah, big dot. And the next closest are going to be 36 and 24. So we can do 24 with 46. 10. Whoop, button. Third. So third is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this one is here. And then second is 21. So I'll just roll a d20 for that one. I got a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll put that one there. And this one is 15, which I can do with 2d8 minus 1. If you want to range of 1 to 15, roll 2 8-sided dice and subtract 1. That will give you a sturdy result. Here we go. And I get a 13. Minus 1, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Here we go. 12. So here's our current moons. And let's say it takes 1 day for each of them to move. So, oh, and I need to do the 5th rank orbit. We technically don't care about this one. And we technically don't care about this one right now. We only care about this one. But I can keep an ongoing tracker of a bastion turn takes 7 days. So that means that each bastion turn, I can shift the moon 7 days in all of these orbits. It's a pain in the ass, but it's only once, like every 3 or 4 sessions, unless the team is yoinking with me. But I mean, I can just do it. And I don't have to worry about all of them. But if I keep track of all of them, then I will always know where they are in relative position of each other during the turn. And I can look at how close are they to each other during any particular turn. So let's see. And that's a good point. So we're near this one right now. So we're in this 4th rank orbit. And that's a 31. So let's do 3d10 again to find out where we're in orbit around the planet to see how close or far the moon is from us. What I get? 4, 8, 9... 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is where we're at right now. And this is where the moon is in orbit. So when the moon is within 7 days of us during a Bastion turn, we will be affected by that moon. When this moon and this moon are within, let's say, they would be 1 square away each. So yeah. Let's say when if a moon is going to be within 1 square of our location during a turn, that moon could influence us. And on a turn where the moon is actually in orbit with us here, it's going to open and close. I know that a full moon and a new moon is based on the position of the moon to the planet, but with this concept, the opening, the full moon is when the plane is open and things can cross through it, and when it's a new moon, it's completely closed and nothing can. When a moon is closed, it has the most gravity and it pulls things that are in orbit with it around. If it's a new moon, if it's a full moon, it has no gravitational power, but creatures can come out. So eventually, a number of weeks from now, like 4 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, this plane, this moon is going to be like around here. It's going to be close enough that the Bastion event that happens that turn is going to have something to do with that moon. So we're not using normal space physics, so it's not like there's going to be a new moon in this plane every 7 days and then a full moon every 7 days. So it's a 14-day cycle from full to empty to full again, right? Because it's a 15-day orbit. So does that mean that a moon coincides? Ooh, and then it gets tricky, because the planet is in orbit around the sun, and then the moons are in orbit around the planet. So if the sun is here right now, then this moon is waxing. No, it's waning because it's starting to get behind the moon, while this one is waxing because it's coming out from around the moon. This one is full and drifting off orbit. Almost all of its butt. So this one is this one is waning to the point where it's almost invisible. Coming through this way, this one's about half moon. Coming through this way, this one's about quarter waxing. And over here, this one's quarter waning. It's not until we're actually this one would be completely full if it was here. Anytime they're lined up. But then as the planet moves around, eventually the planet's going to be here. So that means this position in orbit would be a full moon, and this position in orbit would be a new moon. So do I need to worry about, it's 52 weeks a year to rotate around the sun. That means it's about 6 degrees arc change each week. Each month, it's roughly a 1/12 of the distance of the 360 circle. So that would be a 30-degree arc change. Do I really want to care about that level of precision in the moon cycles of the full and whatever blah moon? I don't think I want to be that technical. I think I want to do. Does that mean that I want to set my own schedule for how? Because if the opening, if the new and if the opening and closing of the moon is the same cycle of duration as its rotation around the planet, then that means that it would always be the exact same position. It'll always be full, or it'll be closed. And that could change as the planet moves. That's going to cause a variable in what day it opens, like what position it'll be when it opens or closes. But that's a level of detail that I don't think I'm particularly interested in. So does that mean I want to have... Do I want to set an arbitrary number, like each moon is full and open, like each moon has like a week to open and then a week to close, so every 2 weeks it's either open or closed? Is that on a weekly basis? No. Is it every 2 weeks? Yes, it is. Okay, so the 14-day cycle. Thank you, sir. It takes 14 days to fully open, and it takes 14 days to fully close. It takes 14 days to fully open again. So basically, one orbit of the closest moon, it's completely open. It's complete, and it'll be completely closed by the time it finishes its orbit. When it comes back around again, it'll be open again. So it's a 14-day cycle to open and close, which means 28 days in total for it to go from open to close to open again. So that means this is constantly going to be changing. That's a level of complexity that I don't think I want to actually track either. Should I, when a planet is close, when a moon is close enough to affect the asteroid, the Bastion Campaign, when it's close enough to affect the home of the asteroids, should I roll to see what phase it's in? New, waxing, full, waning. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that the best way to do it? The dice like that. So it could be a D8. It could be, I could do a D8. So I could have on the cycle when it's, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If it's a 1, if it's a 1, it's a completely new moon. If it's an 8, it's a completely full moon. At 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. That's not the way to do it. That's the way to do it. We'll do it like full, new, half wax. Oh no, this is half wax. This is half wane. Three-fourths wane. This will be 1/4 wax, 1/2 wax, 3/4 wax. Wax meaning becoming more full, waning meaning becoming less full. So it's a new moon, then 1/4 wax, half wax, 3/4 wax, full wax, and then 3/4 waning, half waning, 3/4 waning, and then new moon. So whenever a Bastion turn occurs where a moon is within 1 square of the current asteroid location, we'll roll a D8. So we know this one's here right now, but we can zoom in here and we can roll a D8. So let's roll a D8 and we'll see what its wax or wane is. If it's a new moon, if I roll a 4, it's a new moon, then this moon that's in orbit nearby will actually grab our asteroid community and pull it into orbit with the moon. So it's going to jump ship. Anytime you're within 1 square of a new moon, that new moon is going to pull you to its square. So if this moon that's in orbit with us right now, if the 7 days, when we trigger our Bastion Day, if the 7 days, if it's ahead of us, it'll push us forward 1 square, like to here. If it's behind us, it'll pull us back 1 square to here. And in that sense, our orbit's going to occasionally change position relative to the other moons, which could end up having us being pulled from one orbit to another, like this. We could get bounced around the different orbits that we're in. And over the course of a number of weeks in the campaign, we could find ourselves having drifted all the way out here. And when we get out there, when we move into these new areas, there's now new communities and threats that we might have to deal with, and other opportunities and like resources that the team can mine or discover and exploit. I like that. So not having to worry about what orbit we're in right now. That's just like, don't bug me about that. It's basically the answer I will give you. But that's loose enough that I should be able, I could potentially keep track of that. So let's go ahead and determine where we're at in orbit with the planet that starts off like right next to us, because that's immediately going to impact our first turn. So I roll a d8 and I roll a 7. So that means it's 3/4 full. It's not 100% full, so it's not just going to spill out evil onto us, but that also means that the next day it's going to spill out evil over here. It'll be 100% open on this day, which means that creatures can exit this plane and start to potentially affect its orbit and anything else in nearby orbit with it. That's cool. We'll start that like that. I need to find a position of the 5th, which is Rizia. It's 36 days. So 36 days. Let's do 4d10 minus 3. That'll give us a range of 1 to 39, which is good enough. So let me grab some 10-sided dice here. Seven, 17, 19. So starting here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so when the Bastion turn starts, is if it's within a day of our asteroid community, that moon will absolutely influence what happens. So no other moon at this time is nearby, close enough to be directly adjacent. So let's go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's going to be a while before 1, 2, 3. So like 4 Bastion turns from now. 8, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 Bastion turns from now. This will step back from 2 steps back, 2 steps back. Yeah, if it ends here, that's 2 steps backwards. It took 4 weeks, 8 weeks. No, it'll be 4 weeks here, 8 weeks here, 12 weeks. So 12 turns from now, this moon that we're in orbit with will have made its way around to here, and it'll be dead on to us, and then we'll see. And then we'll roll to see what level of open it is. Yeah, I'm okay with that. And we don't have to worry about the orbit of the other one. I could go ahead and drop them in, but for now this is good enough. So we know for a fact that Rizia is strong enough, is full orbit. No, it's only a 7. So it's not 100% full orbit. So it can't it's not 100% open, so it's not automatically going to spew evil at us. Maybe maybe there's a 25% chance. Let's do it like this. Hey Fox, how you doing? So here are our loose orbit numbers. And then, let's see, we're going to go with roll, and then phase, and then percent of event. This will be 100%. This will be 75%, 50%, 25%, and this will be 75. Nope. This will be 20. That's not the way I want to do it. It's past peaks, and now it's right until it peaks, and then it slides down again. 25%, 50%, 75%, and 100%. So the way that this works is that when the moon is waning and then disappearing into new, this is when its gravitational pull gets stronger. So when the Bastion turn has it within 1 square of our community, there's a percent chance that it's going to, if it's waning, 1, 2, 3, or 4, there's a 25, 50, 75, or 100% chance that its gravity is going to pull our community 1 square in the direction of that moon. So it's at 7 right now. When it's waning towards new moon, its gravitational pull gets stronger. After the new moon, it's the moon opens, and again, when it's a new moon, the portal is closed. When it's a full moon, the portal is 100% open. So the 4 days, when we roll that, it's going to be, if I roll a 5, there's a 25% chance that creatures from that plane come through the moon gate and will now be within striking range of the asteroid community. So right now, we're in close, there's a 75% chance right now that creatures from Rizia, Serania. That's the one that's closest to us. So there's a 75% chance that Serenia, the Azure sky, is going to be open, and creatures are going to come through the gate of Therendor to populate the asteroids in close proximity to our community. So that could be a significant theme for that particular Bastion turn of what's happening. So let's consult the sages and ask Eberron, what creatures inhabit the plane of Serania? I'll let AI answer these kind of questions since they're spitting the answers at me already. So the native inhabitants of the planet Serania, the Azure Sky, are angels. The plane is also home to powerful constructs known as prismatic golems. Serania is a place of peace and reflection, and its magical properties encourage communication over violence. The primary residents of Serania are angels who inhabit the floating crystalline cities. The hierarchies of these angels include the thrones, the dominions, the virtues. Other inhabitants include prismatic golems, radiant idols, planar travelers. Okay, so that would be a 75% chance that some sort of angelic envoy leaves Serania to, I don't know. We don't know their motives right now, but they're going to have some sort of a motive, and they're going to be close enough to our community to have their motive impact our day. So I'm going to roll a percentile die. There's a 75% chance that there's some sort of angelic envoy that maybe they're just welcoming us to the community and want to bestow a gift of like resources, or maybe put a boon on the communities, or a boon on the Citadel. That would be like a free casting of like a heal spell, or like a free revivification spell, maybe. Something like that. The angels will give us some sort of a boon or a blessing for being in orbit nearby enough to say hello. And I rolled the percentile dice, and it came up with a 94. So no angelic envoy. Sorry. All right. If you feel let down, I'm willing to change it. Hey, oh. But I like that system. I like the idea of being able to do that. This also means that they're 100 million miles away. So it would only take a single day for the team, if there was nothing going on in the community during this Bastion turn, and they're actually open just to do whatever you want. Maybe what you want to do is go explore Sarania during this week while the portal is mostly open. You can pass through into their plane. It's just a % chance that something will come out. So let's just say that as long as the moon is open at all, as long as it's waxing, you can enter. If it's waning, you can't enter, and it has gravitational pull. But if it's waxing, and currently it's waxing, so if you took the day, you could venture to Sarania and, I don't know, hex crawl Sarania, try to establish some sort of a contact there. You only have 7 days before the Bastion turn ends, which would also correlate with, like, this is going to be, like, way out of orbit from you, and it's going to take a long time for you to get back to your community that you're supposed to be protecting from pirates and shit. So, but these moons coming by creates some chaos and some potential role-playing change of guards. Just shake up the environment more than just what a normal Bastion turn would be. So that would be like an extra event. You normally roll one event on your Bastion table, but when these moons are in close orbit, maybe those are the event. No, that wouldn't be the case because the Bastion. Okay, so let's go look at the Bastion campaign again. Let's go down to the events. Okay, this is the way that it actually should work. So we know that there's a moon nearby during this turn. So we're going to roll our Bastion turn event. It's a D20 table that we have here. Bastion events. I roll a D20. And whatever this Bastion event is going to affect the narrative of that moon waxing. Let's do it like that. So I'm going to take a D20, and this is how every Bastion turn will work. We're going to have a random Bastion turn at the a Bastion event at the beginning of the turn that's going to color the narration of all the events that happened during that week. This event becomes our theme for this episode of our Bastion campaign. The Bastion campaign is episodic. It runs a Bastion turn is a week. I'm thinking like a Bastion turn, you get one long rest per Bastion turn. So you don't have to worry about focusing down a whole bunch of combats in one day or whatever because you're going to refresh. No, we're going to have one long rest per Bastion turn, which will be a week, and we're going to recalibrate all of the classes so that all the full casters, whenever they take a short rest, they can get their spell level worth of mana back. And half casters and marshals, whatever rank they're at, they can gain back that much mana because we'll still allow martial powers in this playtest. We're just going to marry the martial powers into the mecha so that the mecha can be built out as giant martial types. So the Bastion turn each week, that's the theme of the Bastion. Whatever adventure the team chooses to go on, because they're going to have complications that arise in each community. And there's potential complications that are going to arise as they try to improve their floating citadel, their Dwarven Citadel. The Dwarven Citadel is a Bastion, and each one of the asteroid... let's fix that. Here's our 6 asteroids in orbit with each other in the cluster, and here's the rank of the community. So the largest one in the middle is a town with a population of 40,000 on a 60-mile rock. So it has room for growth with more population, but it has to cut down all its forest to be able to feed all its people. So instead, it's branching out to these other asteroids to expand crops and harvesting capability so that these colonies can each become self-sufficient in providing food for themselves and send excess back to the main central hub where the largest town trade community is at. And then the team in their Dwarven Citadel navigate between like wherever a threat occurs. I have a D6 here, so here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if a threat occurs, I can roll a D6 to see which community is threatened by it and which community is the team starting at this adventure, this next Bastion turn. Where is the team located in relation to these 6? If the attack happens to be at the location that they're at, you're there before they show up and you can potentially fend off the threat. If a threat occurs at another asteroid, it takes 1 hour per square for you to get to that destination. So if you're at location 6, checking on a new hamlet that's trying to lay down new crops on an asteroid, and space pirates start hitting asteroid number 3, it's going to take you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours to get there. Let's say whenever we do that, we'll roll a D10. And this D10, if the number I roll is lower than the distance away from that community, that means that you can actually get there in time to fend off the attack. So in this case, I roll a 6. So it's going to take 7 hours for you to get there. No, I should do it the other way. It should be the number I roll is the duration of time that it takes for the attack to occur and then leave. So in the case of space pirates, the pirates are there for 6 hours and then they leave. So it's going to take 7 hours for you to get there from 6, which means you will not be there for the space pirates, which means that community is going to have to take care of itself because your Dwarven Citadel isn't going to get there in time. And if you leave the region with your Citadel, you're leaving the rest of the community undefended. If you decide to do so, there will be a chance that this is bait to lure you away, so that other asteroids on the other side of the community, like 5 and 6, can now also be attacked, because you're chasing after the bandits at 3 off into wild space, and you're out of territory. If there's nothing, then there's the risk of, like, if I want to go through a moon to explore that space, I need to make damn sure that if I decide to go off to the moon of whatever it's called, Lamanthia or whatever, Sylvania, if I want to go to Sylvania and ditch my community, they will be defenseless, except for whatever militia and siege weapons they have in their community. That's all they'll have. So if we leave, we need to make sure that we've built up the defenses of each community to hold on to themselves, because we aren't going to be there for them. Or we can send an envoy team out on a scouting mission to the moon to make connections with the angelic forces there, maybe find allies, as a scouting mission issued by the characters through the community, the Bastion communities, to send out scouts to say hello. So, like, we won't have a lot of spelljamming ships. We'll have a lot of fighter craft, but we'll have the Dwarven Citadel, which has a major helm, and then I figure, like, maybe we'll have a flying fish, or maybe like a hammerhead ship or something. Maybe not a hammerhead ship, but like a flying fish, or maybe like a damselfly or a wasp ship. That's a vessel that's large enough to do long treks, that we can send out as a scout to check around in other areas as a Bastion order, to using the scout mechanics that we have in the book, that we've already built inside of the Bastion campaign here. But I was going to roll a Bastion turn for us to see what was happening. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just to play this out. I rolled an 8. So 8 is going to be, let's look at it. If it's below 10, it's negative. If it's 11 or above, it tends to be a positive event. So number 8, Lost and Found. Settlements, entrance to a dungeon or cavern network discovered as a research order to explore. As a Bastion event, travelers or monsters seeking help to recover a lost item as a research order to find. And this tag at the end is like if your characters don't want to go on the mission themselves or don't want to get involved with it and want to address it, but allocate it to NPCs in the community or in the Bastion, then it would be a research order that you would issue to help them find the missing item. If it's a dungeon entrance that we find, that we discover, it would be a research option to explore the dungeon. Like this would be like an asteroid, a new asteroid mine, and it opens up and there's stuff inside to explore. And we aren't doing army missions in this particular currently in the campaign, as it's we're not building armies to go attack other things. We might get into that eventually, but initially we're not. We have militias that protect each of the communities, and we have the Dwarven Citadel that navigates between the different things to provide added combat support. Otherwise, acts as a trade caravan, taking resources from one community to another depending on what they need. So in this case, it's lost and found. So we could have either asteroid community finds a dungeon or a cavern network. That would mean that one of the rocks that's being mined has Kyber dungeon inside of it, and you can't continue mining there until you clear out the evil. So if our characters start at 5th level, it'll be a 5th level cavern delve to clear demonic creatures from the depths of the asteroid, so that we can then send miners in to extract whatever ore is inside of there as a materials resource that we can then provide to the rest of the community or offer up as trade with other communities if there's others nearby. Otherwise, we could treat it as creatures came through Serrania and traveled to our location seeking something that's missing. And that could be like they came to you because they think that for some reason that it's nearby your community. Otherwise, they would have gone someplace else. So somehow it's involved with your community, or maybe an asteroid that's in close orbit to your community that might have like a hidden cavern in it. That it was an old angelic facility, like an old angelic temple that got lost, that they wanted to reclaim. Since the portal's open and they're so close nearby, this is a good opportunity for them to go and look at it. And maybe as a result of that adventure, there's now an angelic temple that has been activated and now maybe even populated by angels that are in close proximity to your asteroid community that you could potentially build relations with, and it can become an ally to help like with reliquaries and sanctuaries, and maybe if you have you can start developing paladins and clerics that are aligned with like the Church of the Silver Flame with these angels. Maybe that's a direction that we could go in. That's an interesting idea. If we lean into the Magic the Gathering idea, angels are going to be white magic, but they could be Orzhov with black. They could be Boros with red. They could be Inevitables with blue magic mixed in. They could be Gardenals with green magic mixed in. And there you go. Those are the 4 different types. So only one of them are bastards. So if we're using the color pie to shade the angels that come in, we now have a potential alignment, quote unquote, alignment that these angels are holding. So let me just go ahead and roll a D8 here real quick to see, or D4 to see what their alignment is working around the color pie. I rolled a 2. So white, blue, white, black. So in this instance, Orzhov angels come through, which are white-black energy, which means they're generally on a self-serving mission for themselves. They're not on some sort of pilgrimage to help other people, or they're not infuriated and passionate about chasing something like red might be. These guys are on some sort of reclamation mission. That kind of actually makes sense. But the angels that are going to then set up and operate inside of that temple aren't going to just be benevolent. They'll be willing to trade and look for tits for tats and, negotiate and have like equivalent exchange instead of just giving things to you. So I think there's an interesting vibe to that. I think that could work. So I definitely like using color magic in Eberron in general, but this is going to allow us to really kind of lean into the color pie as guiding the motives of things that come through, and I think that's gonna end up being a lot of fun. So, and it is 8:45. Where are we at on time here? We've been at this for about 2 hours and 15 minutes. I think this is a good baseline. I'm starting to see, if you guys are catching this, like this vibe here that we're working on. It's where we have each week is going to be a single adventure that the events of that week are going to be affected by whatever our Bastion event is. And then whatever moons are in close proximity to us could then further, like if they're within 1 square of us, and occasionally they will be, but not often enough that it's a constant thing. Like this one is going to be 7 days, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth day it's going to cross by 5, 6, 7. This one's already right next to it, and this one is already passed by. So for the following week, it's going to move further away. So during this Bastion turn, you have this moon, and you have this moon to contend with. So before I close up for the day, let's take an opportunity and see like what phase this during this Bastion turn, what phase is this moon in? So let's roll another d8, and I rolled a 3. So this is going to be a 3, and that's waning. So 1, 2, 3. There is a 75% chance this week that this moon, when it swings by here, it could potentially affect our orbit and shift us from here to here. $92. So it's not. But we have this event of envoys looking for something that's lost and discovering hidden facilities. What is that one? This one is Rizia, the Plane of Ice. So let's take a quick look at Eberron. What creatures inhabit the Plane of Rizia? Thank you. Rizia is inhabited by various ice creatures like ice devils and Gugulons, and elementals like trolls, emoths, ice mephits. It has the killing cold. Ice devils, Gugulons, chain devils, manifesting the chilling cold. Unique creatures like salamanders, snowflake oozes, pure hags. Huh, so mostly devils. Oh, shit. Okay. Okay, so devils can't come out, but they can pull orbit. Because it's waxing, it has a gravity effect. When it's waning, it has a portal effect. So we don't have to worry about demons pouring out, but they could shift our location. And it would be 1, 2, 3. So it'd either be towards them or away from them. I'll roll a d6. 1, 2 is towards. 5, 6 is away. I rolled a 2. So there's a 70. I rolled a 92, so that means it wouldn't. But if I had rolled 75 or lower, I would have ended up here in this orbit. And I shifted away, I shifted here, or I shifted this way. One of those three. But this one, I shifted orbit. Now I'm in Rizia's orbit. And now I have to start worrying about what's in the 6th orbit, which is Donvi, the perfect order, with the moon of Nim, the crown. So we would then plot in the course of this here, count it out. It would probably end up being something like 42 squares. We'd roll like 3d10 plus 2d6 minus 4 would give us a range of 1 to 42. And then we'll roll and we'll start, we always start, say, here. We would then do our orbit to see where in position it is to our asteroids, and then we'll see how long is it going to take for it to come around. We know that this moon is going to come around in 12 turns, which is about 3 levels. So it's going to be a long time before we actually get affected by Furnia. This hit us, and we won't be affected by it again for a while. Anyway, that's the idea. That's what we're playing with. So I think what's going to happen is when we come back next, we're going to come back. We're going to work on this again on Monday. I think what we're going to do is we're going to develop these communities a little bit more. We've got one town. We've got 1, 2, 3 rocks with villages on them. And now we have 6 and 4. These have hamlets. And if they're hamlets, they don't have a lot of population, which probably means these are new asteroids that we're picking at. So I think what we'll do is we'll actually develop our asteroid cluster a little bit more, because we already determined that there's more asteroids than just these 6 in our cluster. And in fact, we're in a broad belt of asteroids that cross across the various planes of the moons that are all adrift out in orbit around Eberron, like with Sybaris crystals and blah-de-blah. So as we navigate this space, the campaign that I'm running with my Wednesday team, all of our activity here is in close orbit. The immediate asteroid belt that encircles Eberron here in close orbit. This campaign, we're going to be further out in orbit amongst the moons. So we'll be 500 million miles out. So it would take 5 days for us to be able to actually travel to Eberron, but that would leave our population untended for 5 days. So it would be beyond, quote unquote, beyond the scope of the campaign to actually go to the home world of Eberron to fuck around there. This is a focused campaign of just operating inside the asteroid belt with our Dwarven Citadel protecting this asteroid community. So that is the slice of life that we're building for this campaign, where each week there's a new Bastion event that's going to color all the things. And again, the way that the Bastion campaign book works in general is that you're issuing orders to either establish trade, to negotiate trade between different communities, or to hire on, because we're going to start off at 2nd rank. We can recruit new hirelings up to 3rd rank from the town that's in the hub of the asteroid cluster. Because if I want to have a 3rd rank facility, I have to invest Bastion points to get that facility to 3rd rank, and then I have to spend turns. I have to issue orders to recruit hirelings that are also 3rd rank that will know how to operate the facility to its maximum ability. If I have 2nd rank hirelings operating inside of a 3rd rank facility, they're only going to be able to operate. They're only going to be able to roll as though they are 2nd rank. Until you get 3rd rank hirelings operating that facility, it's still only going to be 2nd rank. Even though you spent the points to elevate it, it can do what you want, but it's going to perform like 2nd rank. So it'd be a D20 plus 6 plus 2 versus D20 plus 8 plus 3, a D8 plus 3. So it's a significant difference being able to add those higher rank hirelings. And we don't have to worry about 4th rank hirelings until the team can get the 4th rank facilities, which is going to require them to be 13th and higher levels. But the campaign is going to run from 5th to 13th levels. So second and 3rd rank facilities pushing up into 4th rank when we end the campaign. Because I just wanted to have a limited scope to be able to use the martial power system, the Bastion campaign for 32 turns. So that's plenty of opportunity for us to see how it works and see how fun it is. And the Mecha Kaiju mechanics for us to be able to have space battles against giant monsters and enemy poachers and pirates and shit. And of course, just Spelljammer in general is fun. So these are the different playtesting content that we've been building here on stream for the past year that I get to fold together into this campaign to be able to test them all out together to see how well they mesh. And if they all do mesh together, maybe I'll take some of these nugget ideas and eventually spin them all together into a separate campaign book that I could publish on DriveThruRPG or on my Patreon or something 2 years or so from now. But this is the potential that I have this is what 5e can do. And this is the type of campaign that I love to play, but it's not a hex crawl. You're crawling through time with different events coming to you. And every time you issue an order to your Bastion or the communities. If they fail their die roll, they create a complication that needs to be resolved. And each complication that occurred is affected by whatever the current Bastion turn event, whatever the current Bastion event is. It affects all the complications and adventure for that week, because that's your episode for the week. This week, Angels visit, and your workshop blows up for some reason. So how are those related? Are they? Maybe they aren't, but if you haven't figured out anything else to have the Angels related with, then yeah, maybe they trash your workshop because they think you have their artifact or something. Insert logic reasons here, and then we'll have like 4 sessions, like 12 some odd hours of gameplay across 4 sessions to fuck around that week to figure out what we're doing with the Angels. And then at the end of those 4 sessions, that'll be the end of the Bastion turn. So let's have another Bastion turn and then roll through that and just keep rolling through turns. And every 4 sessions, we gain a level. So every Bastion turn, our characters are basically gaining a level. So from 5 to 13, it'll be 8 Bastion turns over the course of 32 sessions of adventure, which will take 8 months to complete. So February to October, I'm going to be looking for a team of 4 people that are willing to do that. So, but then when monsters show up and attacks happen, which is a distinct possibility that we're going to work into the random encounter table that's going to float alongside the Bastion events table. So we're going to have Bastion events that occur. We have moon sweeping through orbit, and then we just have a chance of random encounters occurring every day. And then we'll plot out like what hour of the day is it and where is the team currently positioned. And when these monsters attack, how long is it going to take for you to get there? And will they still be there when by the time you actually get there? Or is like, there's no way we're going to get there on time. And then you just shift gears and look at the community and like just have the community make the rolls for the militia at the community to see if they're able to fight off the monsters or not. And if they can't, then there's repairs that need to be done. You have to start issuing commands to that facility to repair itself, or to improve its defenses, or maybe you issue turns in the manufacturing area to create more weapons so that you can equip the militia better to be able to hold off threats more. But we're going to figure all that stuff out here over probably the next course of like the next 3 or 4 weeks. We should hopefully have all these things locked down with like each individual village, the shape of the rock, the type of random encounters that we could occur throughout the area, other communities that are nearby that could be rivals or allies. We're going to flesh all that stuff out. This is our first kiss on the experience. I like where we're at. I'm liking that we're figuring out the physics and the timing of the place. I think this is all working out well. I like the random events that are happening. I like the moon inclusion to help keep shaking it up. So we'll probably develop the communities on Monday. And then this time next week, we'll probably start actually working on the Dwarven Citadel itself. It's basically, we'll have to take this rock and carve it into a Dwarven Citadel. And then each square is 50 feet. So we'll start designating each area, what kind of, like how much of this rock is filled. And then we'll start cutting out pieces of it for different facilities that we have within the Citadel. So we'll have like barracks, and like a mecha hangar bay, and a workshop, and an armory, all these different things. And we'll have a lot of spaces open to add new facilities into, but we can put basically 1 facility per 50-foot block, which would potentially give us 100, but I know we've trimmed this a little bit. So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 42. There's like about 70. There's about 70 squares here that the team will have, and each facility can fit 1 square. Let's look at the Bastion campaign real quick here, and what is the size of each facility. 5-foot squares. So 4 squares, which is 20 feet, 36 squares, a 10 by 10 space is 100 squares. So a 10 by 10 space is, at the 5-foot scale, is a 50-foot square. So each 50-foot square can have a vast facility, which is the largest, which is the minimum for the largest size facility. So we can effectively we have abundant space for each square to be an individual facility, and each one of those squares can be filled by a 5th rank facility. It's amazing that worked out that way, honestly. This is fucking fantastic how well all this math is folding together. But I'm going to go ahead and cut stream here for today. And I'm going to be back tomorrow morning. We're going to continue doing Eberron artwork. I'm going to log out for the night, and I'm going to spend what waking time I have left to do some Eberron art here on the side off screen. And I'm going to be back tomorrow morning to continue the Bob Ross painting of the Eldeen Reaches on the Eberron adventure. And then I'll be back Monday to do more painting. And then Monday night, like I said, we'll start developing the individual communities on each of the asteroids. This isn't too ambitious, honestly. It's like most of my campaigns, it's a lot of upfront load work for all the logistics and timing of things. And then once all those logistics are set up, I have 4 sessions, like 4 weeks, once a month, I have to prepare for the updated event. So the Bastion churn will change, and we'll have a number of sessions for us to have conversations on my Discord channel about like what's the next goals that they want to set, what's the next orders that they want to issue, what community they want to focus on, what do they want to advance alongside the characters gaining levels. So I think we're going to have more chatter on my Discord server, like in character out, like downtime activity conversations about what is happening in that community, and whoever is participating, they could be either they could be player, as long as we have at least one player that's engaging with that level of content, it'll work. Ideally, we'll have all 4 players participating and interested and engaging in that stuff. But we'll see how things shake out. So that's it for now, guys. I'm going to bounce out of here. Thank you, everyone that's been checking this stuff out. We're going to be doing this for a number of weeks upcoming, and of course all the artwork in the morning. So if you like this stuff, and you want to see where this is going, and you want to stay involved with checking this stuff out, then please like, subscribe, and join my Discord channel downstairs and in the description, and check out my books. Thanks a lot for checking this out. I will see everybody in the morning. So later, guys. Thanks a lot. Where'd my mouse go? I turned off my mouse for some reason. All right, that's it. I'm kicking out of here. Thanks a lot, guys. Later.